As a company that takes pride in beautiful homes from around the world, Homeworthy has tremendous admiration for what the Thinking Traveler has achieved as the premier villa rental company in the Mediterranean. Rossella Beaugié and her husband started the company decades ago by exclusively representing just 7 properties, and now they have over 300 stunning villas in their portfolio. The beautiful and incredibly hospitable Rossella is the epitome of Sicilian sophistication, and she recognizes extraordinary design elements that can make a home away from home. We're so excited for you to meet Rossella and hear her family's story. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Hello, Rossella.
Hi, Alison. Welcome to Don Arcangelo all'Olmo.
So, Rossella, you started the Thinking Traveler more than 20 years ago with your husband. What has been the most rewarding part of creating a company that so closely aligns with your passion of preserving beautiful homes and their histories?
There's been more than one. It's been the rewards of seeing Sicily at the very beginning and still now coming up as a destination for discerning clients, which was at the very beginning what we really wanted, because I had lived abroad, and 20 years ago, really Sicily was known for pizza and pasta, and there's so much more to discover. And it's been amazing to get the feedbacks from guests that keep coming with us and say that they would only trust us with the holidays because we make them special. In the other destination in the Med, where we expanded as well. And the gratifications we also get from the owners, because with our work, we help them preserving and improving very special places that otherwise would struggle to be what they are at the moment.
Well, this is one of your crown jewels
Exactly.
of the company. Tell us a little bit about the house that we're in today.
So the Arcangelo all'Olmo is still, after almost 20 years, by far one of the most desirable villas to be rented in Sicily for large groups, because obviously it has 12 rooms and it's fully serviced, and our collections have also smaller villas of different kind. But I think this is very special because it's a family home and it has so much history. The architecture is the typical architecture of this area. You will see the black lava stones everywhere, and every single piece is here for a reason. When we say that we choose properties with a soul, and this is probably one of the quintessential property that has a soul. And you'll see on the walls the paintings from Riccardo, the son of the owners, and Marina and Andrea passed away a couple of years ago. It was the Marchese di San Giuliano, had an incredible life, and they collected every single piece of furniture you see from all over the world. So it's
you
very
can
special.
tell it's so layered and textured, and everything in this home probably has an incredible story behind it. And that's one thing that you look for when you're selecting homes to be part of the Thinking Traveler. You want them to have a story and you want them to have a soul. Is that something you feel the moment you walk into a home?
You do, very often you do, and you need to sometimes also look past some of the renovations that in some cases have been necessary. And if you fall in love with the location, very often the location is unique. This property is special because everything about it is unique, and the location is one of them. So you're between the sea and Mount Etna, and you're surrounded by lemon groves and citrus, and it's just, I think it's very special. So when we get in, you get that feeling that the location is very special, and then the owners have to be with us, and then the house has to be something that sets it apart from obviously a now flourishing offer of villas for rent.
You started out with 7 properties when you first started the company, and now you have over 200.
Yeah.
What's been the process of bringing new villas into your company?
There's been a really good word of mouth amongst the owners. So we've never gone out to look for property normally. It's been a word of mouth from owners at the beginning in Sicily, and then in Puglia, where we started with the help of a friend who was from Puglia and opened us a few doors. And then the owners have had a good experience with us, so they weren't coming with us, and they talked to other friends. And I think it's this good reputation that has come with us.
And you're in Corsica,
Yeah.
Sicily, other
Puglia.
parts of Italy, Puglia, and Greece.
Greece, yeah.
And so it has this boutique feel of this beautiful, just like Mediterranean atmosphere, and that's the plan, to sort of stay niche.
It is absolutely stay niche, and for now stay Mediterranean. We had a lovely old map of the heart of the Mediterranean we got at a little antique shop in Palermo many years ago when we printed the first brochure that had Sicily in the middle. And then obviously just by chance, because at the time we weren't doing Greece yet, but it's really the Magna Grecia. And this really trade union between all the food, the Greek culture and heritage and everything so special the Mediterranean has to offer. So I think we'll stay here for a while. So for the first few years, we focused solely on Sicily, and it was then by guests' demand, clients' desire, to expand somewhere else. In fact, it was this French clients I often mentioned, been with us for 5 years in a row, all July every year, and said that she wanted to explore Puglia. And it was just a coincidence that Puglia was just starting opening up, and some amazing owners were opening up there and restoring some beautiful masserie. And truly, Puglia is quite well known for this very typical architecture. So we started there. We started Think Puglia at the time, and from there then we crossed the sea and went to Greece, to the Ionian Islands. Again, because our clients would keep telling us, we love traveling with you, where else are you going? So it was really by popular demand. And then in 2020, during COVID, we started talking a bit more with other companies that were doing the same job, and exchanging the pain and advice. What would you do? We found Dimitri and Anna in Greece, who were managing their own company, which had very similar values to us, a very similar ethos. They really wanted to make clients happy and come back, and they had a beautiful portfolio of villas. They weren't exclusive to them, and it was that dream to be able to work as we do, because it allows you to invest so much more in the properties you work with, and just know them more intimately, spend more time, invest in the training for the team. So we acquired the company, and we now have also an office in Athens. So our main office has always been in London, and now we have 60 people in London, 40 in between Athens and the islands, and then obviously 20 in Sicily and 10 in Puglia. And between expanding in the eastern Mediterranean, so in eastern Greece, we also started in Corsica.
Tell me a little bit about your background. You, before you started The Thinking Traveler, you had a background in science, in chemistry. You studied in the United States. And then how did you transition from the science world to the hospitality world?
Traveling and languages and exploring the world had always been a passion of mine, and my husband Hugh, who was also a mechanical engineer. We met in Paris when he just finished an MBA and he was working in marketing. So we put together, at the time, his marketing experiences. I didn't have any of that, and business, with my knowledge of Sicily. And it was really I think the attention to detail, the scientific approach we took in building the company and taking it really maniacal, do you say that in English? Attention to detail in everything, and wanted to be precise and correct with everything. I think that's what has brought us to where we are now.
What's the secret to working with your spouse?
Having different skill sets and respecting each other, and probably having slightly different sphere of competencies, so that he trusts you with what you're best, and vice versa.
That's good advice.
And
and it's worked out. Here we are 20 years later, and you're expanding your empire. How did you come up with the name The Thinking Traveler?
It was Hugh's idea when I was finishing my PhD in Paris, and he decided that he wanted to create a company to do with Sicily, and And it was really about attracting, what I was saying earlier, discerning clientele, somebody that would want to go off the beaten track, that wouldn't just be happy with your old all-inclusive package in a touristy hotel and touristy destination, but would want to discover down the route. And this is what we do with opening our villas and offering experiences, just to ensure that our guests can have a really authentic experience in the destination where we work.
Well, and you must be part of so many people's special memories. You're celebrating weddings and anniversaries and birthdays, and all of that's happening within these villas.
Yes.
Which is probably really just so special for the people here, but also for you too, to be a part of that in a way.
Absolutely, and the feedbacks we get are really moving very often, and we have guests that come back. So they've been with us for the honeymoon, and then they come back for the first wedding anniversary, and then they come back after 5-6 years in different group composition. So that's really nice to see.
For somebody who might be considering a hotel versus a villa, what would you, because they think that, oh, there's just the staff of a hotel, but you have that here. I mean, you walk in and somebody takes your bags and somebody's cooking, and so you don't really have to worry about anything the second you walk into the home.
Absolutely. And this is true, not all our villas have the full staff, so some of them give you more privacy, meaning if it's a small villa for 2 on the sea, then you don't have the staff, you just have maybe the daily cleaning in the morning. But for the big groups, I think the villa gives you that total privacy and the total freedom to live the holiday as you want. So it's a gathering from people that come from very often all over the world, and that they want to be with each other and occupy the space and live at the rhythm that they want. So they don't want to share the pool or the common grounds with other people, and this is where villas are so special. And of course hotels then work very well. We have many guests that maybe come to Sicily or Greece and stay a couple of nights in Athens, for example, and they go to the islands. So combining the two gives you the best of both worlds, I think.
Well, when we walked into this house, Marina was the most warm hostess who greeted us with a glass of champagne and hugs, and she just had this unbelievable sense of welcome about her. And one of the things I love about the home is that you can feel a connection to the history of the house. They do have photos sprinkled around, not overwhelming, but you just feel a connection to whose home this is, and I think that's a wonderful thing. Is that intentional?
Yes, we try to respect and enhance really the character and the story and the soul of a villa. It has happened in the past in a couple of houses where we had to say, this is beautiful, probably there's too much of your belongings around in terms of family photos, or you have maybe the kids' room that it's maybe too full of the kids' toys. So our work is really to really help the owners to find a good balance between what the home is for themselves and what has to become for rental. I think a very important element is that all the villas in our portfolios, and it's now 320, and after 20 years actually it's still quite small, is that they work exclusively with us. So you don't find them anywhere else, which means that we really have a long-term relationship. It's sometimes we joke with some owners, it's like a wedding really, it's like a long-term marriage where we work together and we really fine-tune together what the house can be at its best to perform well and get happy guests at the end of the day.
You are from Sicily.
Yes.
You split your time now in London, but this is your homeland. What do you want people to know about Sicily?
Sicily has this quite special blend and mix of history because of the many colonization, and geographically is very varied. So I think I would like them to know that wherever they go for the first time, they can come back a million times and always find out something new. Because it's so varied in terms of landscape, in terms of the food you can get from one corner to another. The dialect changes a bit, the musicality of it from the south to the east to the west, and geographically is very, very varied.
When you started this company 20 years ago, this was considered your first child. You just put all of your efforts into it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for the first 2 years, it was just me and Hugh just going around Sicily and discovering and during our hiking trips, just discovering these hidden gems around. And then our first child was born, and then we had 3 in the sequence whilst working, and they were part of our working life really. We used to take them with us, and as you might have experienced, the Sicilians love children. So
they do.
Going to a house and with a baby in the papoose and another one in the pushchair, they would come with us during the shootings. They were part of our shootings. We used them as not really as model. We would just experience what we wanted our clients to experience, and we would do it with our children. This is why we put together this what we called since the beginning Think Experiences. We wanted to allow our guests to have a beautiful holiday with the young children, and then the children kept growing, and then it was with the teenagers, and yeah.
Well, and we are here with our 2.5-year-old son James and our 6-month-old daughter Grace, and to watch James just light up as he walks through the home and discovers different drawers that maybe he shouldn't be opening, but he is, and nothing has been broken. But you know, he's doing spins in front of the fireplace, and he's waking up and having these beautiful breakfasts that it's just, to see life through the eyes of a child is so special. And he's just loving it. So tomorrow is a pool day, which we can't wait for. But I can see how it must have been really wonderful for you to bring your whole family along for these experiences as your children were growing up. And it started out as a walking tour, is
Yes.
that right? From the very beginning, it didn't start out as a villa tour. How did it evolve?
We very soon realized that the market at the time was inexistent in terms of villas, and the guests we started taking on the walking trips were actually interested, and nobody was taking Sicily seriously in terms of high-end, beautiful properties to rent. So that was something that we developed also because it started with my friends and friends of friends saying, hey, I see you're bringing really nice people from US and UK. Do you want to open up my house to them? So it was that.
I'm sure you have hundreds of villas who want to be, thousands of villas even, who want to be included in the Thinking Travelers portfolio. But what do you look for when selecting a home? What's the criteria that you have to have?
We now have quite long and detailed lists, but in a nutshell, the location has to be almost perfect. It has to be the best in that specific area or destination. So if you're in a little Greek islands where it's everything about the sea and the sea access, then what we choose are the premium location which give you privacy but yet easy sea access in the most amazing beaches and little coves. If it's in Puglia, it would be amongst olive groves, and it would be the historical Masseria, or in central town, the best address in town that you can find. So location is really important. And then they have to have something special for our clientele. So we know so well now what the requirements and expectations of our guests are, that we really see the properties with our guests' eye, because the market is now huge and you can find properties for rent at all levels. So we know what our guests look for, and that's what we try to find for them in our property, in other properties. That makes sense.
Well, one of the things about this home that I noticed right when I walked in was that the design was beautiful, the decor was beautiful, and you don't feel like you are in a rental villa. You feel like you are in a personal home. And how do you achieve that?
We usually select homes that are loved by the owners, that have been refurbished and restored mainly for their own living and for their own enjoyment, and the rental is almost a side business, and then maybe becomes a main business, but the owners love the properties. It's not sterile properties that are being conceived for the rental, and I think that's probably the secret.
Well, I have to say, you must have one of the best jobs in the world, because you get to travel to these beautiful places and I'm sure test out some of these villas to make sure they are up to the quality that you want in the Thinking Traveler. So I don't know, it seems like maybe you've created a dream job for yourself.
Thank you. Well, we now have an amazing team that does that for us as well. So we are often more in London, a bit more behind the scenes, but yes, that's the case.
So one of the things that's so important to tout about the Thinking Traveler is that all of your 200 plus properties are exclusively available through you.
Yes, we say that we are the only key holders until we hand the key to our clients, our guests, and that allows us to invest in long-term partnership with the owners and really invest in the quality and ensure that we know the properties intimately and we can really recommend the best one for our guests. The other two important points are for us the service on the ground, the local teams in every destination. We have over 30 people in Greece and 20 in Sicily, 10 in Puglia and 5 in Corsica now. So yeah, if you think that we have just over 300 villas and almost 150 employees, most of which are in the regions, that gives you an idea of the really high touch service with clients and the support to owners we give to ensure that everybody has a fantastic holiday with us.
Well, we felt it yesterday when we arrived. We had Federica here greeting us, walking us through the property, sharing history about the villa. So not only did we have her, but then we also had the owner, Marina, also greeting us. So we just felt like this incredible warmth of welcome when we arrived. And that's just a testament to the Thinking Traveler. So bravo.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.